Hello Arrow fans, it's Tim here, and today I'm going to give you a very in-depth review for Arrow Season 1. As you can see on the left, I'll be going over 8 main topics I have sorted out, and if you do not want to be spoiled, because I will be giving spoilers throughout the entire season, you can just click on any of those topics and it will bring you right to where you want to be. And my first topic is obviously the first thought. On there I'll be talking about basically the first half of the season and what I've been talking about in the beginning. Then I'll be talking about the storyline, the flashbacks, character development, cameos and references is about all comic book people that were in it and possible future characters related to comics. Then I have a whole section on Roy Harper because I love him. Then I'll give you my final thought and everything else. So let's get started. So my first thought on Green Arrow, the television series. So before I actually even watched the first episode, before it even entered my mind and everything, and I just saw the trailers, I thought it was going to be a lot like Smallville. And Smallville, I loved it. It went on for 10 seasons, so obviously it was amazing. But it wasn't I love Smallville. But they got desperate. They added characters people didn't really want to see. They added certain things that it just wasn't good enough. But Arrow, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, it's nothing like Smallville. It's its own thing, and it's amazing. I love it. They really haven't become desperate yet. I'm gonna guess if they ever do go to maybe a 5th season, they'll get desperate and start adding Batman characters just to get lots of popularity. But I'm hoping they don't do that. And the first half of the season, guys, I thought it was mainly about, okay, Arrow is a vigilante. He's just learning his ways. He's already a great archer from being stranded on an island, and basically I got this vibe where the whole season was just going to be them killing one person in the book day by day. But the very last episode of the season half or whatever you call that, it pretty much proved that it's not just about the book. The book isn't really even half the story. It's mainly, there's a bigger plot that's going to be happening, and obviously that happens at the very end of the episode, and I'll talk about that later. So, if you are going to start watching these and you haven't watched the episodes yet, it's not what you think it is in the beginning. It does get a lot better. And I like Green Arrow a lot. I really wish they called him Green Arrow. In the first half, they called him the season. They made a reference saying, what should we call him? They call him the Hood, but they're what about Green Arrow? And obviously Oliver Queen's there saying, oh no, that's a stupid name. Come on, that's your name. At least get used to it. But I'm pretty sure they're going to stick with Arrow. Hopefully when Roy Harper comes around, all that, they can change it and make him Red Arrow or whatever. But for Oliver Queen, I loved him no matter what. I really liked the flashbacks in the first half season 2. They really leaves you hanging with what's going on this island. And in the first half, we got to see, we didn't really get, the only person that knew who Oliver Queen really was himself. But then we got John Diggle, who is, as you can see on the screen, he's the black guy, not to be racist, right to the left of Arrow. He was first set out to be a bodyguard for Oliver Queen because they didn't want him to get hurt or anything, because he just came back from 5 years on an island. And eventually when Arrow is going on these nightly trips to save people, blah blah blah, being a vigilante, John Diggle is I'm sick of him running away, and eventually he becomes a partner with Arrow, not really a sidekick. And it's pretty interesting. There's an episode where actually he puts on the hood, and Green Arrow's sort of what Batman did in The Dark Knight Rises. He's anybody can be me. It's not, Oliver Queen's not Arrow. Green Arrow is Arrow, you know what I mean? So, I really like John Diggle in there, and then we didn't really get to see too much of, anybody else. We got to see, Felicity Smoak. I think she entered, the second season and all that. Not the second half of the first season and everything. So, guys, basically my first thought was, if I only reviewed the first half, I would not have said it was nearly as good right now. I gave the first half maybe a 7 out of 10. And you'll see my second half later. So that's about it for the first thought. The storyline for Arrow Season 1. Okay guys, now if you haven't watched this yet, or watched the entire season, then you're going to be spoiled for what the storyline is mainly about. So, really we get to see two stories. One is the flashback story, which is where he was on the island for 5 years, which I'll be going over next, and the other one is where he's basically just at home, like in the future, or not in the future, like in the present. And I'll just be going over the present storyline right for now. Guys, basically we don't really know what the main plot is, like the whole build-up of the whole entire story until like the last like few episodes where Malcolm Merlyn wants to level the glades and everything. But mainly it's about Oliver Queen avenging his father, saying like, I will save this city, as in where he gets his quote, "You have failed the city," and then shoots the guy in the heart or whatever, or the girl. And basically that's what it's about. It's like getting this book, killing all the people in the book, and that's what he thought he wanted his father to do, but it's not. He didn't want the people on the book to die. They just wanted, like, he didn't want them, really, Oliver Queen's father, Robert didn't want Malcolm to level the glades, so that's really what he was supposed to do in the beginning, but he didn't really notice what the whole plot was until the end. And I really liked how Oliver Queen's mom did not really know, like, so like basically Oliver Queen doesn't know his mom is like involved in this at all until like the end. And it's really interesting how like now her mom is in jail because she went on the live speaker and said, "Oh, Malcolm Merlyn's leveling the glades tonight. Everyone has to get out." And that was a huge good part and everything. But the storyline really goes off and on. Like it just has really ups and downs. It's like, I'm hoping the second season is a little more straightforward, like what's going on, we kind of already know it. Guys, it's basically like, first it was like, we'll just kill all these people, then we have to save the people. It's, you know, original stuff, but the final episode was amazing. I loved it. And one thing I did like, one thing I didn't like was he kills people. I mean, okay, you're supposed to kill people in the story and everything, but like, he says like, okay, you can kill someone, that's fine, but then he goes up and tells Huntress, who's also in the story about 2 episodes, says, "Oh, don't kill people, that's bad." Like, you're a hypocrite. Are you kidding me? You're being like, don't kill people, but then you kill people. I mean, make up your mind. I'm hoping in the second season, or third, or whatever, he realizes that he shouldn't be killing these people, and maybe he takes more of an approach where he just sort of, I don't know, knocks them out and everything, and uses different types of bows, and maybe shoots them in the stomach, or some place that they won't die right away. Because I just want him to kill less people, because I don't feel like it's that heroic. Maybe like he is a vigilante if he's going to be killing all these people. I mean, if he wants the cops on his side eventually, he can't be killing all these people. So hopefully they fix that with the story later, and make him more of a hero and less of a vigilante. I know, but they're the same thing. I got it, whatever. But so the storyline's pretty amazing, guys. I liked it, but it has lots of stuff to do. I hope they make it better in the second season. So that's about it for the storyline. Flashbacks. Okay, well, where would Arrow be without the flashbacks, guys? It probably wouldn't be anywhere. Flashbacks are the second. They're like 2 stories in one. Without the flashbacks, it would pretty much be a pretty boring episode. Guys, flashbacks is basically what I look forward to, at least, and so do a lot of other people. So, it starts out where, like, we have the flashbacks and everything, and it's like, okay, they're on the boat, blah, 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 she's cheating on them, because he's like a big old playboy pimp, and they crash the boat, they land on an island where he says he was stranded on the island for 5 years alone, but that's a bunch of bullshit. There's probably like 1,000 people on that island. But he does have to still fight his way through the island and learn to become an archer. And 2 characters that are in this are Slade Wilson and Bill Wintergreen. Now, obviously, most of you have heard of Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, but who's Bill Wintergreen? Well, what they did with Deathstroke in this is basically this island is more like a prison where they send people, and they send Slade Wilson and Bill Wintergreen, who are partners, and they went under the codename of Deathstroke, and they both wore the Deathstroke mask. So Deathstroke wasn't really a certain person, it was more of a code, like just a name to throw out there, kind of like the Royal Flush Gang and all that. So Slade Wilson actually turns on Bill Wintergreen because they weren't really friends when they were stranded on the island because they like cheated on each other and all that, not like homo or anything. And Bill Wintergreen is officially dead because Slade Wilson killed him. And Slade Wilson is Deathstroke. He does wear the mask. He is ripped and everything and has a sword. So I love how they have Slade Wilson in the flashbacks. And one thing I think they're going to do is once they reach the end of the flashbacks, which is, I would say maybe the end of the second season, maybe halfway through the third, I hope they have, hopefully, obviously those two storylines are going to mix together. Like the present and the flashbacks, they're going to like mix together, and I can't wait to see Deathstroke in person, like in the present. And one thing I think they're going to do is, because Deathstroke has both of his eyes right now, he's going to get his eye cut out by Green Arrow, and then Deathstroke is going to try to assassinate Arrow in the present, which is going to be like a storyline. Like I really want them that to make a big deal, and I think that those two characters are going to be mixed together so perfectly, and this is going to be amazing. And another character we have is Yo Fei. I can't really say his name. It's like Yo Fei, or yeah, Yo Fei. And he is a comic book character, and I don't know too much about Green Arrow, so I won't talk that much about it. But Yo Fei, it looks like he's like cheating on Arrow a lot. Like, is he on his side? Is he not on his side? He is on his side. There's a few parts in the storylines where Yo Fei pretends to kill Oliver, but then he just passes him out, throws him in a river, he wakes up and everything. But Yo Fei has a daughter named, let's see what her name is, Shadow, and I'll talk about that later, but officially at the end of the season, Yo Fei is dead. He died in a plane crash, or, no, he didn't die in that, he died from Edward Flyers, guys. Edward Flyers is basically the villain of the flashbacks, and I liked him better than Malcolm Moreland, at least. I thought Edward Flyers was a really good character. He just looked evil, and he's basically just the leader of whatever the hell's going on the island. They're trying to, like, stop all production in China and all that. And Edward Flyers does die at the, spoilers alert, obviously, does die in the season finale. So 2 people die in the season finale on the flashbacks. We got Edward Flyers dies, and Yo Fei dies. And what I love that about is Edward Flyers dies from Oliver Queen shooting his very first arrow right in the chest. And who teaches, the question most of you have been waiting for if you haven't watched it yet, who teaches Oliver to shoot arrows? And that is Yo Fei's daughter, Shadow. And she taught him pretty well because Edward Flyers was holding a gun up to Shadow saying, "Shoot me, you won't," and boom. Shadow's alive and Edward's dead because Oliver Queen knows how to use a bow and arrow. So, I love the flashbacks. It's like one of my favorite parts. They're telling everyone, this is what happened on the island, like this is how he learned everything, and this is what's going on. And so far it's amazing. I can't wait to see more character development on Slade Wilson and Shadow, and I can't wait to see more future characters, and basically what's going on with this island, because he was stranded on the island for 5 years, and he's only been on it for like 8 months. So I'm guessing maybe in season 2 they'll skip maybe a year or 2. See, that's going to be really interesting also. So basically that's it for the flashbacks. Yeah, that's basically it. The character development. I'm going to be, on this section, I'll be going over the main characters I want to talk about, not including the flashback characters, because I already talked about them. And I got like 10 characters I want to go over. The first character is obviously Oliver Queen. Now, we have the most character development on him, because he's obviously the main person in the whole storyline. I really liked how they show how different he was in the flashbacks to where he is now. And we basically know everything we need to know about him. We know his past, we know his history, we know his family members, we know basically who he is. He was a cocky character. He was really cocky in the beginning. He was a playboy guy. He got all the girls and all that. And he learned his lesson on the island, and now he is a strict person, and he's choosing between who he should tell his identity to. He doesn't know he wants to have his family safe, but he can't be with his family as nearly as enough because he has the duty to save the city by being the Arrow vigilante. So that's basically his decision, is like family or the lives of everyone. And they basically choose that towards the end, where he goes up to his mom and says, someone's got to save this city. And his mom even takes a huge step by giving herself up and explaining, you know, that the leveling in the Glades. So basically we know everything we need to know about Oliver Queen, and we'll know a lot more in the second season. And the next character is Leah Queen, or Thea Queen, actually. Now, I love Thea Queen, and one more thing I want to talk about her is, her nickname is Speedy. So, like, they said that in, like, the very first, like, near the first episode, so that hinted Roy Harper, and I'll talk about him later. So, Thea Queen, I like her a lot. In the beginning, she was a bitch. She was a huge bitch. She just would be like, you just came back from the island, I don't give a shit what you went through, blah 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 blah, you're never with us anymore, all that. And now she's sort of understanding a lot more. I hated her in the beginning, but now I love her a lot. One thing that was interesting is that when she got hooked on vertigo, and she got in a car accident and all that, and basically her character got a lot better ever since she met Roy Harper, because they made a lot more drama going on and all that. So I really like that. Now I'm going to be talking about Maura Queen, who is Oliver Queen's mom. Now, she has lots of secrets behind her in the beginning. Like, she's really, like, you don't know if she's evil or she's not. She's not evil, guys. She has just been tormented by Malcolm Merlyn and everything. So, really, she is a good person, but she knows all of the dirty secrets that's been going on in Starling City and all that. So her character is very good. I mean, right now she's in jail. So the second season is going to be really interesting to see how she's in jail. I'm guessing that she's not going to be staying in jail that long because she's a billionaire, so she'll probably just get out. But that's going to be lots of drama. No one's going to really trust her anymore because, like, she's the work behind all this anyway. So that's really going to be interesting to see what happens with her. Now we got Robert Queen. Not much to say about Robert Queen. He is Oliver Queen's father, who died or shot himself to save his son, which is very heroic and everything. I love that. He died a good man. He didn't want to level the Glades. As you can see in one of the, I guess, half flashbacks, it's more like Malcolm Merlyn's plan, and Robert is basically just has to take the plan. And when Robert finally stands up to Malcolm saying we shouldn't do this, Malcolm sends them on a boat and kills him, basically. So that's about it. And I like how he killed himself to save his son. That's also very well written and everything. Now we got Walter Steele. Walter Steele was Robert Queen's assistant, but now is married to Maura Queen, who is Oliver's stepdad. I guess that's what you call it. And he's pretty good. Well, I mean, I like him a lot, but towards the end he gets kidnapped and Oliver saves him and everything to make his mom happy. But he left the family twice, and he left them, the second time he left them is because he figured out that Maura, he's like, I can't deal with this, you're just gonna send me out again. And Maura's like, no, I didn't send you out, it was Malcolm who sent you out to be in that jail or prison or whatever. So now, don't mind that. Now, now Walter Steele is gone again, and I don't know if he'll come back. I really don't care if he comes back. I didn't really like him that much as a character. Now we have John Diggle. God, who doesn't like this kid? He's really great. I love him a lot. He started out as a bodyguard for Oliver, and now obviously he is Oliver's partner, not like a sidekick or anything. And I love that a lot. I really like how he has a storyline behind Deadshot and his brother and everything, and he got really mad and towards the end of the season where Oliver wouldn't help him, he helped someone else and he left, but he's back again, and John Diggle is there to stay. So he's awesome. Lots of character development on him. He might be dating he sort of is dating his dead brother's girlfriend. It's kind of weird. Whatever. But I really like how he uses a gun as a weapon. He does use an arrow. He is a good archer because he did play the role of the vigilante in one episode, which I loved that. And so John Diggle is a great character. I really hope they do more with him and maybe give him his own costume. You know, I mean, Green Arrow's arrow. Maybe they should give John Diggle not an arrow, but maybe just, I don't know. They can think of something, but I want him to have his own costume. And next up, we got Felicity Smoak. She is a comic book character. She used something related to the Firestorm. So Felicity Smoak, I love her, guys. She is basically if you know ever read Batman, she's basically like when Batgirl, she's like Oracle kind of thing. She just stays on the computer, hacks other systems, and like talks to Green Arrow saying, okay, go left, go right, blah blah blah. And she's really interesting. She is sort of like a love target for Oliver, but not anymore because we got Laurel Lance and everything. But Felicity Smoak, she's a great character. I hope she just stays alive and stays doing her job as Oracle. We don't know too much about her. She worked for Walter Steele as her assistant, and she only joined Arrow to help him find Walter Steele, but now she's there to stay. And basically, she only found out who Oliver Queen really was because Oliver would always go to her for assistance, and she would be like, this is really suspicious, and eventually she found out. So that's basically all we know about her. Now we got Laurel Lance. Guys, well, she's a great character, but I really want them to do more with her. She is, as most of you know, she's Black Canary. But she isn't Black Canary yet, and I don't think she'll be Black Canary anytime soon. Possible 3rd, 4th season type thing. Or maybe the end of the 2nd season if we're lucky. Now, we kind of have a lot on Laurel Lance. She obviously her dad, Detective Lance, is the police department's detective, and her mom, who left her when she was young, actually returns. But what's interesting with Laura is her sister is the girl who died on the boat with Oliver, because Oliver cheated on Laurel with his sister and got her killed. And they're still freaking dating. Are you kidding me? They're meant for each other. So Oliver Queen and Laurel Lance are back together at the end of the season. And Laurel Lance did have something with Tommy Merlyn later. Laurel was like, I like Tommy, but Laurel was like, nah, fuck it, I'll fuck Oliver instead, I'm a whore. Whatever. But they did hint Black Canary once, because when her mom came back to say, oh wait, no, your sister's still alive, blah 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 blah. No, she's really not. She said, oh, remember that Black Canary I got you? And I was like, oh shit, they just said Black Canary. So Laurel Lance is Black Canary, and obviously she will not have her most famous power, the huge sonic voice bomb, because they don't do voices that. They don't do powers. But she there's a few fighting scenes with her, and she knows how to fight very well. But I really don't know how, because Black Canary is one of the DC's best fighter. I don't know why she's not in Injustice. She is an amazing fighter, and she doesn't really prove that as Laura Lance in this TV series. So I really have no clue how they're gonna make the transition from her to Black Canary. I really hope they do that well, because Black Canary is one of my favorite characters, and I really want to see her become Black Canary in this TV series and actually be a good character. Next up, we got Detective Lance. Oh, God. Detective Lance, I loved him, and he is dead. At least I'm pretty sure he's dead. We don't really know. But obviously at the end of the season, he does save one of the man-made earthquake devices, but there was a second one. So he basically sacrifices himself. But one thing is, he hates the vigilante. At least in the beginning. First he's like, I need to catch this vigilante. He has to die. But eventually he grows to understand him and understand what he's doing. And at the very end, they're basically almost friends. And, well, Detective Lance almost said, Oliver Queen, you are Arrow. There was, I think in 2 episodes explaining how Oliver could have been Arrow, but they like broke that up because they're like, oh no, that's when John Diggle became Arrow, so they explained that he can't because like Oliver was under house arrest and everything. But eventually Detective Lance, my main point, understands the vigilante, and he is hiding this phone that the vigilante can call him on. Like, he's not telling the police department because they'll take it, and only he has it. So obviously he sort of understands what Oliver is coming from. So I really like Detective Lance. It's kind of disappointing that he's dead. I don't really know if he's dead yet. I'm not exactly sure. You can correct me down below if you know if he is or not. But that's about it. And next we have Diana Lance. Now, not much to say about her. She is Laurel Lance's mom and Detective Lance's wife, but they are broken up. They're split apart, divorced, because she left him. And one interesting thing I only wanted to talk about is that Diana Lance is the one that allowed Sarah to go on the boat with Oliver, and that kind of caused some things. But it was kind of interesting to see Diana and Detective Lance actually meet each other and like be okay with each other and try talking about to see if Sarah was really alive. But no, Sarah is dead. Get over it. Whatever. But that's about it for Diana. And now we have Tommy Merlyn. Whew, I like that name because that's my name. I'm Tommy. But Tommy Merlyn, he started out, he was the best friends with Oliver and everything. And eventually, Tommy learns who Oliver really is towards the end. Like, Oliver never really wanted to tell Tommy, but he had to eventually because Tommy was injured and he had to save him. And the only way to do that was to show him who he really was. And that was really interesting because, like, I loved how Tommy eventually found out. And most of the people were like, oh, Tommy Merlyn's going to be the new villain for Arrow and everything. But no, he died. Surprisingly. Yeah, guys, Tommy is dead. Oh my god. I really sad they killed him. He was a great character. Towards the end, their relationship, like Oliver and Tommy's friendship, really just broke up because, like, they just never talked anymore. It was really awkward with each other when they found out who Oliver really was. So Tommy started out as best friends. Oliver comes back. They start separating each other. And then Tommy gets really mad because Oliver is dating Lance now or whatever. So Tommy's dead now, so it's really sad. Nothing else to talk about. Now we got the last character I want to talk about, Malcolm Merlyn. Wow. Well, the second I saw his face, I knew he was the villain. He just looks evil. And he has a great past. He is the Dark Archer. He's the Black Arrow, whatever you want to call him. And I love that. He even has his own, like, station. He has the coolest suit ever. It's, like, so much, like, compacted and everything. Almost like he's, like, Iron Man or whatever. And Malcolm Merlyn, he is the father of Tommy Merlyn. And he's the one that wanted to level the Glades so he could avenge his wife who died on the sidewalk path of the Glades. And he doesn't succeed with his plan. Well, actually, he does sort of succeed with his plan because he set up 2 man-made devices to cause an earthquake. And, spoiler alert, yeah, the earthquake actually goes. Holy shit, they lost? Yeah. Well, he didn't kill as much people as he thought because Maura Queen saved some of the people by going on the news and everything. But that was really interesting. Malcolm Merlyn is dead now. He was a lot better than Oliver, but to kill Malcolm, Oliver grabbed an arrow and stabbed it through his chest and out from behind him because he was getting choked by Malcolm. So Malcolm's dead and Green Arrow has a huge hole in his chest. Whoa. So that's basically about it for character development. And yeah. Cameos and references. This is going to be a short topic just talking about related things to comics and Arrow. Now, some characters I love that were in this TV series were Huntress, Deadshot, The Count, Firefly, Royal Flush Gang. Now, Huntress was in 2 episodes, and I liked her in the beginning, but I don't like her anymore because they have this whole dilemma on should he kill, should she kill, blah blah blah. But sorry, Huntress does look very well. She wears purple like usual, has her motorcycle and her little pistol and everything. Not the actual pistol, a bow and arrow pistol. And Deadshot is in a few episodes, and I love him. he started out as like a normal assassin, but then he lost his eye and got the mechanical seeing eye. And really what makes Deadshot cool is the whole John Diggle's brother killing and everything, and that's awesome. And then we have the Count. Count is in 2 episodes. Really, he's in like 1 in the second one. It's just like the Vertigo drug is still out in like the streets of the glades and everything. And one interesting with the Count is that Thea Queen uses the Vertigo drug and crashes into another car with it. Then we have Firefly, who I didn't like too much because it was really short and he basically just killed himself, but whatever, he's a Batman villain, that's awesome. Then we have the Royal Flush Gang, who was pretty cool. I mean, the king of the Royal Flush Gang found out who Oliver really was, but he eventually died. And now onto the references. They referenced Ferris Aircraft, which is the Green Lantern place where Green Lantern test pilots all the planes and everything. I loved that. They mentioned that at the very end. But so they're basically saying that, okay, Ferris Aircraft is real, and that means Green Lantern's real. But obviously they're all real because it's the DC universe. They also mentioned the GCPD, the Batman place and everything. If you don't know that, I might be wrong about that. They also mentioned we got like some Batman references, some Ferris Aircraft references. They also mentioned Ra's al Ghul. If you haven't saw Compacast's episode reviews, they had a theory where the whole flashback thing was based off of Ra's al Ghul and that, which I thought would be awesome. But so I really like how the cameo references are a great thing. If you're a comic book lover, then you love them because they just give you that feeling like, oh god, I have a nerd boner. And you're like, oh cool, they just mentioned Green Arrow and Wonder Woman. Oh god, Green Lantern. But yeah, that's awesome. I really hope they mention more about cameos and references, and hopefully there's supposed to be like possible Nightwing cameo or Suicide Squad cameo. The Suicide Squad, I wouldn't be surprised because we already have Deadshot. But guys, don't forget, comment down below and like this video. I want to hear your thoughts on all about this. But that's basically it for cameos and references. Roy Harper. Now, most of you are wondering, why does this review have a whole section dedicated to Roy Harper? Because, 1, he's my favorite character, and 2, he's freaking amazing. There's a few things I want to talk about him is, first off, obviously he is going to find out who Oliver Queen really is. Now, most people thought, oh, he'll find out during the season finale, and that did not happen. I mean, he has the most character development in the shortest amount of episodes I have ever seen. I thought they were going to add him and just like be like, oh look, he's here, Roy Harper, here's a picture, and then like bring him back like in 2 seasons later. But no, he was there to stay. He's been in almost every episode since he debuted, besides like 1, and that was like the flashback episode. And he's pretty amazing, guys. Like, I really want, this is how, I want them to do a scene, like, they'll probably won't copy this exact thing, but they'll mostly do something related to this, where Roy Harper is over the house of the Queens, and he's eating dinner with the Queens, because he's, like, dating Thea, and I want them to have a talk where it's just, Oliver and Roy, and they're just looking at each other while they're eating dinner, and Roy gets this sense that, wait, this Oliver guy, he's something, and then Oliver gets a call, blah 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 is happening on 4th Street, blah blah blah, go kill that guy. So Oliver leaves the dinner table, and Roy gets all suspicious, saying, well, maybe this is Arrow. And I really want them to do something like that. They only had 1 encounter where they met each other, and it was really quick, like, yeah, they're like, don't find the vigilante, I found him once and it was horrible. And that doesn't stop Roy. He's still going to find who the vigilante is, and he'll find him soon, and it's going to be amazing. One more other thing I want to talk about is, once he does become the vigilante's sidekick, like, if you know who Roy Harper is, what will they call him? They call Arrow, they call him the Hood and the Vigilante. What will his name be? Now, it's usually Red Arrow or Speedy. Now, both of these have been hinted because Speedy is a nickname for Thea, and Red Arrow is hinted because he usually always wears red clothes. And another name he has is Arsenal. And Arsenal is used in Red Hood and the Outlaws. And what I wanted them to do with this name is have him, like, they can call him, I don't know, the vigilante sidekick or whatever they want to call him. Hopefully they call him like Speedy or Red Arrow. And then maybe in like the 3rd or 4th season, if they start to get desperate, but they should just do this normally, is have him lose his arm, then have him run away, because like he loses his arm because like from a villain, and like Green Arrow or Oliver had the chance to stop him, but he never did it, and a bunch of drama goes on there, and Rory's all mad at Oliver, saying, how could you do this to me? I only have one arm now. He leaves for like 5 episodes, or maybe even like a half a season, comes back as Arsenal with one arm, and becomes a villain for Arrow. And I thought that would be amazing, but they can't do that right away because they have to build lots of character development with them together, so they would have to wait till like a 4th season type thing, and I'm almost positive they should do something like that, because how awesome would that be, to have Arsenal with one arm, and have like the robotic arm that can like shoot stuff and everything. That would be cool. So they definitely won't call him Arsenal right away, and I really hope they hint that as a cameo soon. So Roy Harper is an amazing character. He will eventually know who he is. They'll eventually become sidekicks and everything, and he'll most likely use red arrows and everything. And it's gonna be so interesting. And one more thing I want to talk about is, how will the relationship go with Thea and Roy once Roy becomes a vigilante? I think they're gonna date, but once Roy is too busy on his work and everything and doesn't have time for Thea, Thea will break up with him, and that will call him just like, you know, CW has to have relationship shit going on. So that's gonna be interesting. So really hope that gets touched on a lot. And there's not really much to talk about him besides his name, when he'll find whose identity is, and him and Thea. So that's basically it. Okay, Arrow fans, we're reaching the end of my review. This is basically where I'm going to give my final thought. Now, overall, guys, I gave this entire season a 8.7 out of 10. Now, it deserves a better, most of you might say that, but I think they're going to make it a lot better in Season 2. I will make a separate video later explaining what I want to see in Season 2. And this was amazing, guys. The finale, we got, like, tons of deaths. Tommy died. Tommy Merlyn, Malcolm Merlyn died. Yo Foy died. And so did Edward Flyers died. They all died. It was amazing, guys. So I give this whole entire video of my review an 8.7 out of 10. Guys, please comment down below, what was your first thought, what was your storyline thoughts, flashbacks, character development, cameos, references, Roy Harper, final thought, tell me everything, guys. Reminisce down below, and I will get back to you on that. Also, go on my Twitter account, follow me on Twitter, type in on your keypad, or whatever you want to do, blah blah blah, Tim, Tommy, whatever you want to call me, blah blah blah, what do you think about this, and I will get back to you. You guys, subscribe to my channel for the latest comic book news, comic book reviews, Injustice news, Arrow reviews, everything. And I didn't do episode by episode review because I wasn't that good at reviews in the beginning, but in Season 2 I will give you a episode by episode review, in depth and everything. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below, do all that, and I can't wait to see you next time in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for everything.